Live from our studios in the nation's capital, your most reliable source for news, national, regional, and the rest of the world. Welcome to Kairi FM's Major News. Here's your presenter.
$10 million from the GCF toward a low-carbon transport for Dominica. APP gravely hurt over death of Kian Alexander. UE Seismic Research Center Corps Global Award for managing La Soufrière crisis. And transgender players banned from International Rugby League. The details in a moment.
Can you see the World Wrestling? Makapale World Wrestling Championship. I'm talking about Onlatekika Lite, Coxte, hand-to-hand combat, Higas, high fall with rising fuel prices. The world is trying to shoot down, bring down its head, but it can force it tetlianho. How do we in Dominica deal with that situation? Ebe Domlek can encourage all the customers, pupa gaspi electricity. Use electricity wisely and save. Remember the Domlek energy saving tips. Domlek have a tutsai pay to provide the best prices available and welcomes the promotion of green energy, nature's contribution to your energy bill. But kisan ou kafe? Est ou ka lite pi lestan latea, même si c'est mode or guathien ou sa, guathien di guabjam of the fuel price by putting up the lights to pack a seville, that will help. Domlek, the power to serve you better.
Get your money, get your money, get your money. Get your money, get your money, get your money. Get your money, get your money, get your money. Quick and fast. Hurry up. Borrow up to $20,000, go to the cash. Pay nothing down, get a call out. Flexible payment, same day approval. Get anything you want for 2022 with Coach Ready Cash. Get your money, get your money, get your money. Get your money, get your money, get your money. Vacation. Get your money, get your money, get your money. Quick and fast. Hurry up. Coach Ready Cash. We are ready when you are.
Hello, Dominica. Guten bien. It's your time to win free groceries from Digicel. Win up to $2,000 in groceries every week when you activate any Digicel Prime bundle. That's up to $2,000 in groceries for you to shop and grab. Anything you want in 2 minutes. Activate any Digicel Prime bundle. Then wait for your lucky call. Live on radio every week.
Hello?
Enjoy more data and talk for as low as $5. Plus your chance to win free groceries from Digicel. Activate now in the My Digicel app or dial *140 pound sign. Prepawe Bouquet. Free groceries on Prime. Digicel. Better together. Promotion ends July 1st, 2022. Digicel terms and conditions apply.
In the news this evening, a $10 million grant funding from the government of Switzerland will see the deployment of a national low-carbon transport program for Dominica. The government of Dominica has set a target date of 2030 to get rid of all carbon-driven vehicles and use other means such as electricity-driven vehicles for transportation. In that regard, the Green Climate Fund, in collaboration with the government of Dominica, has organized a series of workshops to validate the roadmap and to receive inputs from national stakeholders. The low-carbon transport program will be done in 3 phases, with the first phase to be done by the year 2023. Verena Arose is project manager. She says the grants will be translated into some grants and concessional loans in order to implement the activities such as pedestrian infrastructure, public transport, and quality on-demand transportation.
Having maybe on-demand public transport that people can call on a minibus and not being waiting so long that the minibus do not drive around the towns, picking up everybody at their homes, which still might happen, but others that want to get faster to a place that they're going to be able to do so have better fares too, which when it comes to public transport. That's the other measure is in the electrification of road vehicles. That's where the funding comes in really handy. We're going to have better financial conditions for people who want to buy an electric car. We're going to have 20 minibuses, 2 electric minibuses for the public transport. And we're looking into the maritime transport as well. Boats, engines, outboard engines, 10 outboard engines to test out, to see how they work out in the sea. And that's for the phase 1. And after 2025, we're looking into having some 2,000 electric vehicles on the island. And by 2030, if everything goes well, the government will have incentives enough to say, okay, we're going to stop importing fossil fuel vehicles. By then, hopefully, the geothermal plant will start working, and we're going to have 100% renewable energy here. And with that, zero emissions in transport sector as well, hopefully.
Ms. Rose has also expressed concern over the high number of vehicles in Dominica for a small country compared to South America. She says Dominica has 257 vehicles per 1,000 inhabitants, while the average in Latin America is 200 vehicles, and that, she says, is alarming for a small island developing state. According to her, there needs to be a scrapping company or program in place to get rid of derelict vehicles and ship the metal overseas for recycling, as this could generate economic activity for the island.
If you go to Roseau, and it's such a small town, and you see plenty of vehicles parked around, and people here are talking to me about traffic jam, and I come from a big city where there is traffic jam. So yes, for being such a small island, too many people do have a car, and that is something that needs to shift. No, it was 18,000 licensed vehicles. Registered vehicles, we have 40,000, but many of them, they don't get taken out of the registry. But licensed vehicles, we have 18,000 according to the statistics office. The vehicles are old. The idea is not to have more vehicles, but to be replacing them. And there needs to be a program put in place in order to get the scrap out of the island. I saw that there were some things done after the hurricane because you had many derailed vehicles, so there is some experience there. But there needs to be a scrapping program for the vehicles to actually leave the island, and you get some profit out of the clunkers, but not that much. But the idea is to replace them, not.
She says if there is a better public transportation coming out of this program, then when people sell their old vehicles, there will be no need to purchase another, as the new transportation system will solve many transportation issues.
If you have better public transportation, then people might think, okay, I'm selling my old car and I'm not buying a new one because the bus already, I'm really into going with the bus because it's faster now. That's the way you actually reduce the number of vehicles, but it's a long shot. That's not only a problem in Dominica, that's a problem everywhere. People, once they get used to having a car, it's really hard for them to shift to public transportation. In Portsmouth tomorrow, Layou on Thursday, and Grand Bay on Friday. I've taken all the comments from the stakeholders and see if there's anything that I need to add on the roadmap. And then afterwards, this is going to go to the cabinet, the roadmap and some other documents we have, to ask for the funding at the Green Climate Fund, and hopefully we'll get some first 10 millions to implement.
Verena Arose. The Ministry of Blue and Green Economy, Agriculture and the National Food Security Plants Protection and Quarantine Unit has revised their hours for inspection of fresh produce for export at the Longhouse Port in Portsmouth. According to the head of Plants Protection and Quarantine Services, Nelson Laville, the decision to amend the hours of inspection is as a result of the increase in the number of non-compliance reports being received by the unit with regards to exported fresh produce from Dominica to regional territories.
We are attempting to put measures in place to reduce the number of non-compliance reports that we've been getting from our trading partners. And when we did our troubleshooting and discussion with agents and along with other partners on the port, one of the things that we've identified is the times for inspections. Persons would come late at night or late, and so inspections would be done but not adequately covered. Then the loading of the boats, etc. All of this creates an opportunity for non-compliance, recontamination of consignments after inspection, and all those different things.
Laville says the Plant Protection and Quarantine Service has taken this proactive approach and will now undertake inspections during the hours of 9 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. to ensure that produce is inspected more thoroughly before cleared for export.
So one of the actions that we're taking would be to standardize the times for inspections. So we're looking at this. We had the discussions earlier on with the agents and so forth, and we agreed that inspection times would be from 9 a.m. in the morning until 6:30 p.m. in the afternoon. The inspection will carry on until 6:30, but we'll inspect no consignments which comes in after 6 o'clock, and that is applicable for the port in Portsmouth at the Longhouse port.
Head of Plant Protection and Quarantine Services, Nelson Laville. The Alternative People's Party say they are gravely hurt by the death of Kian Alexander. Kian Alexander succumbed to his injuries sustained during a clash with police who were in search of missing 12-year-old Kenisha Etienne. Political leader of the party, Tahira Blanchard, views the incident as disappointing that Kian, who was a mentally ill young man, was not captured alive.
The Alternative People's Party is gravely hurt by the death of Kian Alexander, who was a mentally ill young man. It is disappointing and very sad that the police, in their wisdom, would not find it fitting to take the necessary precautionary measures in ensuring that Kian was captured alive and kept alive so as to assist in returning Kenisha Etienne safely home. The abduction of Kenisha Etienne is a national crisis, and one would expect that the police would be fully aware of the objective of this matter, which should have been to capture Kian Alexander alive.
Blanchard says Kian's death has reduced the hope of the safe return of Kenisha at this time.
Kian's death has reduced hope of the safe return of Kenisha at this time. We are a God-fearing nation, and APP calls on all the spiritual leaders of Dominica and on all Dominicans to pray for the safe return of our daughter. APP calls on the authorities, notwithstanding the circumstances, to do all within their power, and we call on every able Dominican to join in an organized and strategic movement to search for Kenisha. APP extends heartfelt condolences to the family of Kian Alexander, and we pray for God's intervention for the safe return of Kenisha Etienne.
Tahira Blanchard of the APP. Acting Prime Minister and Senior Minister Reginald Ostry says while he's confident that missing 12-year-old Kenisha Etienne of Warner will return home safely, he's concerned for her well-being when this ordeal is over. Police say Kenisha was abducted from a home in Warner on the night of June 7th by Kian Alexander, who attacked and injured Etienne's adopted father in the process. Minister Ostry expressed outrage over statements made by Alexander's family on Kenisha's return after the full moon.
I'm confident that my faith tells me that that child will be found and will be returned alive. But how do we prepare as a country to receive her when she returns? Because clearly, this young child has been through an ordeal. And I suspect not only that incident, but we need to go back and see how she lived. This child has no mother. Her mother disappeared. I'm hearing now that the parent in the interview with Matt is confident that the child will be brought back when the moon starts going down. He's only holding her temporarily for his comfort. They're holding the child, the people are justifying and smiling that the child was abducted to be this gentleman's comfort. What does that mean?
The acting Prime Minister has questioned the notion behind these statements, asking whether or not this has occurred in the past.
I'm confident that my faith tells me that that child will be found and will be returned alive. But how do we prepare as a country to receive her when she returns? And the mother says that he's of a violent nature, that she herself is scared when they thing on him, and she has criticized the police for not having shot him in his leg on some occasions when he had been terrorized in the community. And then you have this young baby taken away by this violent man who is armed, and you feeling comfortable to say that he took the child for his comfort? Is that how they cool him down? That when the thing on him that he needs a comforter, and this child now is his comfort, and when the moon start going down, she will be returned safely? How do you know that? Has it ever happened before? Has he ever taken to be his comfort when the thing on him? Because I know the first time the thing on him. Is that what we're saying?
And that was acting Prime Minister Reginald Austri. In news from the region, high commendation, beg your pardon, we will go back to a local story where the fuel prices across the globe continue to soar, and the Ministry of Trade and Commerce has announced the latest retail prices for petroleum products in Dominica to take effect as Monday, June 20th. In efforts to reduce the cost of these products, government decided to subsidize the cost of petroleum to reduce the impact on residents and avert a possible slowdown in economic growth prospects. Director of Trade Martin Walter says these government interventions have caused the prices to fall at a lower cost than Dominica's regional counterparts.
Being led by the global trends and indications on the barrel prices of petroleum products during the period under review, the Ministry of Trade and Commerce has regulated and announced the following prices retail for petroleum products in Dominica. Gasoline, $16.47, diesel, $16.58, kerosene, $16.57. These prices were kept lower than they would usually have been due to government intervention by way of two subsidies. Subsidy 1 is the waiver of the customs service charge, and Subsidy 2, the application of a subsidy on the landing cost for both gasoline and diesel.
Walter has reminded the general public that Dominica, much like other islands in the Caribbean, have little control over the price of fuel. As such, he is urging the public to manage their lifestyles wisely in order to adapt to the new realities of the changing world.
Citizens, the increase in prices is presently our new reality. It has to be remembered that where those products are concerned, Dominica and other Caribbean countries and across the globe too are price takers and not price makers. We in Dominica especially are not producers of any petroleum products. I therefore once again, as I've done before, urge prudence in livelihood choices and an adaptation to the current realities to ensure our sustained comforts. The government of Dominica will continue, as it always does, and assiduously so, to work towards easing the burden of this new reality on citizens as we tarry forward.
According to the Director of Trade, the retail cost of liquefied petroleum gas, that's the LPG, has also dropped as world prices drop as a result of ongoing summer temperatures.
Good news, however, is that we are experiencing a decrease in the retail price of LPG. This is due to warm summers, and therefore there are more external activities, outside activities taking place. There is less gas used in the heating of homes, and as a result of which there is more supply on the market, bringing down or depressing the price of the product. And so in Dominica, a 20-pound cylinder is now $36.62, which is a decrease of $2.91. The 27.5-pound cylinder is $49.98, a decrease of $4. The 30-pound cylinder is $54.43, a decrease of $4.37, and the 100-pound cylinder is $178.10, a decrease of $14.56.
Dominica's Director of Trade, Martin Walter. Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell has called on the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States to continue to do more for the socio-economic development of the sub-region, despite its achievements over the past 41 years. Last weekend, the OEC has celebrated its 41st anniversary under the theme 41 Years of Integration, overcoming challenges to build resilience and sustainability. Transgender players have been banned from women's internationals while Rugby League's governing body does further research on its inclusion policy. International Rugby League, the IRL, said it wanted to balance the individual's right to participate against perceived risk of other participants. The IRL's move comes as several sports are considering transgender inclusion. Transgender swimmers were on Sunday banned from women's elite races if they have gone through male puberty. That's the evening news. Do join us again tomorrow morning at 6:30. On behalf of the entire news and production team, thanks for listening.
Hello, Dominica. Guten bien. It's your time to win free groceries from Digicel. Win up to $2,000 in groceries